Hey Hofstra fans, welcome inside the WB Mason Coaches Report with Abby Morgan. I'm Anthony Barrett, joined by Abby Morgan, the head coach of the Hofstra women's lacrosse team. Coach, thanks for the time. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing good, Coach. And you had two games this past week, both non-conference games. We'll start out with the game against Fairfield on Wednesday, and we're going to break this game down into two halves. You're up 8-3 in the first half. What was going right for your team at that point in the game?
Well, and actually, we could probably break it down again into a little bit more time of that first half because we were up 5-0, and I think that we were definitely feeling the confidence in that time, and Fairfield started going on a run, and I think in that moment we lost some of our confidence and weren't able to. Once we got to halftime, we actually kind of felt like we were already down when we weren't, and fighting back from that was too much.
Now, Fairfield did get two more goals before the end of the first half. They go on to beat you 12-8. Why were they able to just really dominate the second half of play?
Well, when we had the ball, we took some bad opportunities. We didn't shoot well in that second half. A lot of shots that hit the goalie and or went wide, and we didn't take great opportunities in the times that we had the ball. We looked to force a ball in there or kind of that pinpoint feed to go in, that pretty play, instead of just the things that were going to be wide open for us. So, that was tough, and we kind of had what we did to Colgate was done to us. So it didn't feel very good to walk away from that game, especially being up by 5-0 to start it.
Now, your next game was against the BC Golden Eagles, a very talented team, ranked 8th in one of the polls. And you competed with them. You end up losing by 2, but still, it was a good performance for your team against one of the best teams.
It was definitely the best game that we've played as a team. There were things that we changed up on our team, and they really reacted very easily, quickly, went with it, and we really did compete. It's unfortunate to come away with a loss when you know that you played well. But looking back at the film, there were definitely some things where we knew we could have done better. Winning the 50-50 balls was something that we needed to have the ball more, and we hit our sticks first, and we didn't come up with it, and that's something we've worked on a lot. We need to finish all of those plays.
And you did have some standout performances in the BC game. Jen Ward gets 3 goals. The sophomore, she was on the CAA All-Rookie team last year, and the freshman, April Ionetta, also with a good game for you.
Yeah, it was April's first start, and she definitely took advantage of it. She's without a doubt a gamer, and just works hard throughout everything that she does, and pushes when she needs to, and she was spent at times, and that's what we expect out of our middies. And Jen Ward, from the first draw, you could see it in her. I mean, she went hard on her first 1v1 and scored it, and then from then on, she was doing everything, scoring goals, but also picking up balls back that we needed and making up cuts in transition. Just she's draw controls. I mean, she really just did it all, and it was nice to see her break out and have a great game. And again, it would feel a lot better if it was a W, but we definitely did a lot of things well.
Now you've had a couple of new faces in the starting lineup at both the midfield and the attack spots so far this year. Is that something that we should expect to see the rest of the season, or are you're just trying to find that lineup that works right now, or is it going to be a revolving door?
We're definitely trying to pull some strings to see how we can get a group to work together, but we do expect a lot out of our players, and if they aren't giving us what we know they can do, what they show in practice every day, we're going to try it with somebody else, and our team knows that, so they have to show consistency when they get out on game day and make use of every minute that they have. And what we've seen as well in our 3 games so far, if we get a group that's working, we stick with it, unless they're dying, So we find that group that works, and if it's hitting on all cylinders, we'll stick with it. So we have a lot of talent. We have a lot of talent on our bench, a lot of talent that we can put on the field, so we want to utilize all of it and find out who's hot. I mean, Jen Ward wasn't coming off the field. April wasn't coming off the field unless she was dying, because they both were playing very well.
And on defense, other than the goalie, really, it's very difficult to tell just by looking at a box score to see who really played well, unless somebody racks up, cause turnovers. So who has really caught your eye so far on defense?
Emily Von Holland has been doing a great job on defense, and she really is turning into that true midi that we need out of her. And she's just doing a solid job. She's hustling after ball. She's making plays, sometimes that don't end up on that stat sheet like you referenced, but she's doing a really good job for us. And Casey Kellogg is a solid player for us. And again, she's the one to slow the 1v1 and force a tough shot that's easy for our goalies to save. So she does things that are that help our team win. She's glue. And Jamie Diarco has done a very good job on the defense too, and she's come up with some strong ground balls. She's a spark on our team, and we need her to continue to do that.
Now you have 2 games coming up this week. You have a conference game against the Drexel Dragons. Before we actually get to the specific matchup, this is something that we see in other sports more so with the CAA. Men's and women's basketball have this. They have that one conference game away from everything else. Do you like this because it gives your team a little taste of CAA play, or would you rather have everything all bunched together?
I think that our team, and I think every team in the CAA, is very used to having it all bunched together. And whether it's that travel party game or that travel team game that you have that is right before you start CAA play, or at the end, it's one that's by itself for us, and not a Friday, Sunday. But it's not ideal, but I think it's also good for us right now to be tested and know where we stand. And coming off, 2 tough losses, I think it's time for us to turn things around.
Now, the CAA games always seem to have a different level of intensity. Obviously, your team goes out there, you want them to play 100% against everyone, but the players know there's a little bit extra riding on a CAA game. Have you gotten the feel that your team has really gained the importance of this Drexel game because it is early?
Yeah, I think so, and it comes from the leaders on our team and the upperclassmen now, and it is kind of that switch where like, oh wait, this is the CAA game, and we definitely have reminded our team a lot of that because it isn't what they're normally used to, but there's an extra piece of rivalry, and that's why the CAA is so much fun to play in, because you can never choose one team as your rival, and you hit one and you're like, okay, that was the big one. No, the next one you play is the big one too. So it is exciting to be a part of it, and they're always a knockdown, drag-out fight, and that's always what we've had with Drexel. We've had very close games with them. Thankfully, we've come out on top a good amount of those times, but you never know with any team in the CAA.
And now let's get to your opponent, the Drexel Dragons. What are you expecting from them?
They're fast, they're athletic, and they go hard, and that's something that I think we have been nicely set up because BC did a lot of those things as well. And we did a good job against their drivers, and we're hoping to do the same thing against Drexel. But we need to push fast break. We need to be ahead of the game and not just react to them. And I think that's going to be a key for us, is to play our game and push us first.
And obviously you don't want to look too far ahead, but we kind of have the luxury, maybe your players don't. Maryland coming to town this weekend, it's the home opener. They're always one of the top 5 teams in the country. Before we actually get to the Terrapins, how big is this that you get a team like Maryland to come to Schuer?
Well, we are very lucky. We're on Long Island, a hotbed for lacrosse, and we've had some great teams want to come here and play us and showcase their teams, and have their players who are from Long Island be in front of their home fans and their hometown. So we are lucky in the fact that a lot of teams want to come here. Sometimes we have to say no, so we don't have 3 top 5 teams on our schedule. But Maryland is one where we haven't played them in a long, long time, and it's exciting for us to have a team like them here at Schuer.
Now you bring up the top teams. For a while, it was always you and Northwestern, having a home and home. So how big was that you don't have Northwestern on the schedule anymore, but now you still do get one of those top tier teams?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, you really want to test your team and see where you stack up and what you need to do to be at that elite level, and that's what we're hoping we can do with Maryland and compete as much as we can. But it will be nice to just, after 4 games on the road, it'll be nice to be at home. It really will.
And what are you expecting from the Terrapins?
They do a lot of pinpoint passing, a lot of great shooters, and a lot of feeding from behind. So we're hopefully going to draw off something that'll slow that down. But it will be having the ball in our sticks and being tough when the players are coming on you quickly, and being able to come up with that ball and have it in our possession. If we have it, they don't, and we can be in control.
Now this is a very interesting stretch for your team in the grand scheme of the season, because it's a CAA game and then also a top 5 opponent in the same week. So how important do you think this is, just to see exactly where your team is at?
I think it's going to be, these next 2 games are good, kind of where do we fit? Where do we fit nationally? Where do we fit within our conference? And our team is very much, I mean, when you have 16 games and you only have that many, until you can earn another spot for another game, you really have to pay attention to every single game. And our team has done a very good job of that in the past, and I think this team will do the same.
And now let's come back to the Drexel game. What's going to be the key to beating the Dragons?
We have to push fast break. That's going to be a huge part of it, and 50-50 balls. I mean, those are our keys to success, and I think no matter who we're playing, that is going to be keys for us.
All right, Coach. Thanks a lot and good luck this week.
Thank you.
And thank you, Hofstra fans, for joining us inside the WB Mason Coaches Report with Abby Morgan.